You know the feeling. You have high potential, sharp skills, and great ideas, yet you find yourself completely paralyzed. It is like you are staring at an invisible wall that strictly forbids you from taking action. We often mislabel this barrier. We tell ourselves we need a larger budget, more free time, or better resources. But the actual obstacle is a modern, toxic obsession. We sit around waiting to feel motivated before we lift a finger. 500 years ago, the undefeated samurai, Miyamoto Musashi, identified this exact problem. He realized that waiting for a sudden surge of inspiration is exactly like waiting for a strong gust of wind to push you forward. It is entirely out of your control. Building your career, your health, or your life around a fleeting, unpredictable emotion ensures you remain stagnant, regardless of how much talent you possess. To understand how to break this cycle, look at the story of Kenji. He was a young samurai with sharp physical technique in the dojo, yet in real life-or-death combat, he hesitated. He choked. Kenji's paralysis came from a single flaw. He would only draw his sword or commit to a strike when he felt entirely ready, waiting for a surge of bravery that rarely arrived on time. This leaves us with a critical problem. How exactly does a paralyzed, talent-rich individual kill their inner excuses and force themselves to act when motivation is at absolute zero? When Kenji encountered Musashi, he didn't receive a comforting philosophical lecture. Musashi immediately intervened with a brutal, physical mandate designed to snap Kenji out of his head. This brings us to Musashi's first lesson: non-negotiable discipline. He forced Kenji to train when his muscles were failing and he was completely exhausted. The goal was to prove that the body can execute a command even when the mind begs to stop. This animated graph shows Musashi's third lesson: the power of absolute simplicity. The top line represents motivation. It spikes and crashes based on hunger, sleep, or mood. The bottom line represents action. Notice how it remains perfectly straight and flat, entirely unaffected by the emotional chaos happening above it. True discipline is born the exact moment you sever your physical output from your emotional state. Naturally, there is a backlash. Once you force your exhausted body to move, your mind stages a violent rebellion. It floods your system with anxiety and quickly invents highly logical reasons why you should quit. Musashi's second lesson addresses this panic directly. You do not try to outrun fear, and you certainly don't ignore it. You step directly into it, going head-to-head with the terror to break its authority over your actions. Kenji had to learn Musashi's fourth lesson under extreme pressure: mastering his own nervous system. He learned to study his breathing and silence his hands while his brain was actively screaming that he was in danger. Attempting to conquer external goals, whether that is launching a business or winning a duel, is futile if you haven't first won the silent internal war against your own panic. Eventually, the initial excitement of this new mindset wears off. Kenji hit a brutal plateau, the threshold where almost every self-improvement effort goes to die. This compounding growth curve shows Musashi's fifth lesson, the 1% rule. While the talent line stays flat, relentless daily consistency creates a result that eventually dwarfs raw ability. To sustain that curve, Musashi delivered his sixth lesson. He taught that seeking comfort leads to stagnation. Friction is not an obstacle, it is the sculptor's hammer, and discomfort must be actively welcomed. Embracing that daily systemic friction is the specific mechanism that transforms a temporary, fragile habit into an unbreakable identity. Musashi's final teaching, the seventh lesson, was the heaviest burden to carry. Memento mori. You must live, train, and fight with the absolute certainty that there is no tomorrow. When you viscerally recognize your own mortality, it burns away your hesitation. Laziness requires the illusion of infinite time. Acknowledge your time is running out, and focus follows. This realization triggered the culmination of Kenji's training. During his legendary 6-second battle, there was no hesitation, no wasted energy. His eyes snapped into cold focus, executing his strikes with chilling precision. Mastery isn't about physical strength. It is about operating with such clarity that your excuses no longer have the leverage to stop you. These 500-year-old sword tactics function as psychological scalpels, designed to cut through the modern excuses we wrap ourselves in every day. Take a look at your own life right now. Identify your specific invisible wall. Is it the fear of judgment, a lack of focus, or simple laziness? Name your enemy out loud to strip away its power. Stop waiting for the mythical right time or a magic wave of motivation. Choose non-negotiable discipline right now and start building.